I want you to pay attention to this. You see, there is a large misconception about the origin of humanity, but today I am going to end that misconception. I want you to know that all human beings living on earth did not come from Adam and Eve, but from the vagina of a black woman who lived around 140,000 to 200,000 years ago. You see, during this time, there were no human beings in Europe, in Asia, or in Australia. The only place where humans were existing was in Africa, precisely Ethiopia and Tanzania, which is in East Africa, and they were existing with the African albinos. You see, around 55,000 years ago, black African women were the first to migrate from Africa to different parts of the world. Now, in Europe, the Africans who migrated there were caught in the ice. This was a period known as the Ice Age. Now, as they adapted to the European ice environment, they started dropping pigmentation. That is, they started dropping melanin because there was no enough sun in Europe to increase their blackness, which means they started turning from black to white, from Africoid to Caucasoid. They became the first white Europeans due to centuries of adaptation in the ice. Hundreds of years in the ice made them to grow long hair to prevent their neck from cold, and this also made them to start having narrow nose. We must know that the African albinos who were dying easily in Africa because they lack enough melanin to protect them from the sun became the pink Europeans immediately they entered Europe. You see, it was not all blacks who were affected by the European ice. Not all of them dropped melanin or pigmentation, which was why when Britain was invaded by Rome around 55 BCE, they saw black people who were native to Britain. This was before slave trade and colonialism. In fact, the first Africans to live in Europe were known as the Grimadis. In Asia, the first migration of Africans from Africa to Asia started around 65,000 years ago. In China, for instance, the first emperor or king of China was a black African man named Fun His, who reigned from 2953 BCE to 2383 BCE. He and his African brothers and sisters created the first royal dynasty in China, called the Chang Dynasty, and it lasted from 1766 BCE to 1027 BCE. They introduced the first political, social, and cultural civilization in China. These black Chinese migrated from East Africa around 60,000 years ago during the Ice Age. In Japan, the first people to live there were also black. Around 35,000 years ago, black Africans who called themselves Jomons migrated from Africa and took the route that led them to the place we call Japan. In Mesopotamia, that is Sumeria and Babylon, which is present-day Iraq, the founder of Sumer was Nimrod, a black man from Kush, which is present-day Sudan and Ethiopia. You see, the black race started the Sumerian civilization. In fact, everyone who lived there during this time were very black before Europeans migrated to live with them and the place became mixed race. In fact, if Abraham existed, then he would be black because he was born in Sumer and migrated to the land of Canaan, where he and his people were persecuted by the Hittites. From Canaan, the people you call Jews or Israelites migrated to Egypt, not as slaves but as students. In Egypt, they were accepted into the Egyptian mystery system, where they were educated by the African Egyptians. This was during the Egyptian 13th dynasty, when the Hyksos from Asia invaded Egypt in 1675 BCE and ruled a part of Egypt for 108 years. I will recommend my book, The Untold History of the Black Race and the Fall of African Civilization, if you want to know more of this. Subscribe to my YouTube channel today at Ebenezer Heru for more knowledge.